Don't you lie, yeah. Pittsburgh Steeler with the black and yellow diamond. Maybach coupe in the seats, I recline. Fresh out of jail, I ain't know what I was signing. I was having drip before I knew about designer. Looking for the right one, to fuck around and found him. Headers in the circle, had to get the fuck around him. If we got a problem, make the young nigga down him.
Alright, so let's talk about 8K. Is it worth the hype or is this just overkill? Well, let's get into it. So I recently shot a Netflix film on the Sony Burano and DJI Ronin for the 8K. And we decided to film everything in 8K. And I gotta say, I think this was a game-changing idea. But let me tell you why we decided to shoot in 8K when most of the TVs are 4K and the streaming service is only 4K. So I've been using the Sony FX6 and Sony FX3 for more than a few years now, and these cameras are 4K. They look absolutely amazing. I love their footage. I love how I work with them, but I got super used to the image coming out of these cameras. But in some difficult cases on both of these cameras, you can start to feel that the image is getting muddy and quite grainy, even if you have the right settings. Now this might be due to the fact that these cameras have only 12 megapixels and the pixels are quite big, meaning you start to see the noise coming out. Even though you're using 10-bit color and your color grading super nice, you can still see the image is a little bit muddy in some situation, like I said. Of course, this phenomenon is quite rare and you don't see that often. And most of the time, you're not gonna see it on your phone or the screens that we're working on. But when you're doing a project that you wanna see on a big screen, because our movie is gonna stream in cinemas as well, you wanna get the most out of your cameras. And that is why we wanted to have a better image quality. Now, when it comes to the 8K image, all of the pixels become way smaller, making details much finer, and noise is also getting smaller as well. Of course, smaller pixels mean less sensitivity to light, but with new cameras, we have extremely capable dual gain sensor, and it's easier to get the right settings while filming. The reason I wanted to film in 8K and downsample to 4K was because I get more detail, more colors, and overall a more punchy image. I wanted something that is also feature-proof, and when the time comes of having more 8K content, we can reuse and re-enjoy the film that we shot. Not to mention that I also wanted to have the thrill of shooting on new cameras and also the thrill of doing something new. Now let's talk a little bit on why I choose to film with Sony Burano and DJI Ronin 4D as a pair. I'm gonna start with the Sony Burano, and the answer is simple. You get 8.6K resolution with 16-bit raw recording and over 15 stops of dynamic range. Yes, this camera looks absolutely amazing when it comes to the image quality, but there is a major downside with this camera. The Sony Burano has a very slow sensor readout, which in some situation is very visible. Now, because of that, we decided to put this camera, the whole film, on a tripod and not try to move the camera so much. Now, because of this slow readout sensor, we wanted to find a better camera to have motion images like gimbal shots and so on, so we decided to go with the Ronin for the 8K. Now, while using these two cameras together, I realized that the Ronin for the 8K might be, in my opinion, one of the best cameras for movie productions I have ever used. You have incredible usability, really good image quality, and a lot of good ergonomics that help you shoot super fast and way easier. The reason I'm saying this is because this camera is so smart that you really need to film with it and see for yourself what I'm talking about. And I know what you're thinking right now. The Ronin 4D looks like a chicken head and it has different colors than the Sony. And with the chicken head, you're absolutely right. It's as stable as a chicken head, which is kind of funny, but it's very practical. But when it comes to the colors, you will be surprised how good these two cameras match together. I was absolutely amazed how easy it was to color grade these two cameras together. It was very similar in terms of the color space. Now you might think that if we shot 8K, it must have been very expensive in terms of storage, but no, the files were actually smaller than the RE files. In fact, we only used 30 terabyte of footage for the whole film, which I think is absolutely amazing. Now, in terms of pricing for these two cameras, I think the Ronin 4D is actually a camera that you can buy and own. It's more on the budget side, even though it's expensive, but if you compare this camera with other high quality cinema cameras on the market, it's pretty much a no-brainer that this is one of the most affordable ones. Now, when it comes to the Sony Burano, it's way out of my budget, so we had to rent the camera. And the Ronin 4D is my camera, which was amazing because we saved a lot of the budget, not spending it on renting cameras, but also using it for the film to do greater stuff. But to be honest, creating high quality images and content isn't always just about the visuals. It's also about the audio experience, which is why I'm excited to partner with Licht for this video. Licht is one of the biggest high quality mainstream music platforms for content creators who want more from their videos, and sometimes the right song is a mainstream top chart one, like the one we're using right now. But we all know if you try to use a song like this, you get a copyright claim ASAP. But not with Licht, because it has over 1.4 million mainstream tracks that you can use without the risk of copyright claims. And this library of music is actually 10 times larger than any other music platform in the world right now, which is totally crazy. And from my own experience, choosing mainstream music in your YouTube videos tends to increase engagements and views. But not only that, it increases the viewing experience for followers, and it allows you to transform your videos into something captivating. It is so cool that we can finally have creative freedom when it comes to choosing the right tracks, and Licht open up that world for creators like us. There's actually a link in my bio where you can check them out, so I encourage you to do that. Alright, so now back to our nerdy camera talk. I know I talked about AK and the cameras I've used in a recent Netflix film we shot, but I haven't really talked about the film. A few months back, I had the opportunity to film for a Netflix film, and shooting a film was one of the biggest things I really wanted to do, but I never had the opportunity. So I was a DOP on this one. I also edited and color graded the film, which was quite a lot. But in February 2025, we will launch the film in cinemas and then on Netflix. And I have a ton of behind the scenes that I cannot wait to put on YouTube and explain the process of what we did, because we had some really impressive shots that really need to be dissected, and I cannot wait to show you guys how we pulled this off, because it was really cool. It was the experience of a lifetime. Now, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe button so you can be here when I'm gonna post about that. But until next time, I'm Alexandru, and thanks a lot for watching. Peace.